All right, so recently we talked a little bit about Mohaloop and Ripple, and I do think that we need to make another video on this because I truly do believe that Ripple and even XRP are both chosen. And there is no doubt about this in my mind. Nothing is going to change my mind on this. And in this video, I'm going to prove to you guys that Ripple is 100% chosen by the elites and why XRP will also play a very big role around all of this as well. If you guys want to absolutely crush this market, I mean making sure that your long-term, your mid-term, and even your short-term goals are being hit in this space, you guys need to be in the Discord. I have a complete free section and a complete paid section as well, where both sides are getting a ton of value. Even the free side. Guys, I don't ignore the free side. We have weekly events in there. We're doing portfolio reviews, you name it. So what are you guys waiting for? Join the free Discord now. Links are down in the description below. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of the video, you do become a subscriber. With that in mind, let's talk about this post that I did include in a recent video, and more so it was talking about how long these types of things take to build. And this is from Anderson, an example of how long these types of things take to build and why you shouldn't necessarily equate things taking a long time with failure. In November of 2017, Ripple held a meeting for a dozen central banks in New York where the IMF were present. And this is that announcement. This is Ripple Swell. This was one of the first ones. 24 central banks, guys, from around the world, talking about new technologies to enable the next generation of payments. At the meeting, Ripple gave an example of Ripple Solutions connecting the following: banks, payment systems, and also networks. Among those networks, Mohaloop was given as an example. It uses the interledger protocol for interoperability for connecting money mobile providers. Mohaloop was launched as a non-profit in May of 2020. And here you guys have that announcement as well. Just recently, it appears Mohaloop having quite some momentum with active proof of concepts and implementations happening in 5 different countries and much more, hiring new people, etc. Ripple will benefit from interledger protocol being adopted globally. As you can see, things take time. Don't expect things to happen overnight, especially when working with traditional financial institutions, enterprises, and governments. Now, building on top of this, Anderson recently made another great post, and this is with the United Nations Foundation being highlighted here. We know that Mohaloop has recently received funding from some very impressive institutions, but I haven't seen the United Nations Foundation being mentioned here. From their inaugural report released on May 15th of this year, Mohaloop uses interledger protocol for interoperability. Thus, Mohaloop being deployed will help the vision of the Internet of Value to come into fruition. Being funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, and the UN Foundation is powerful. And yes, this is elite controlled. This is an elite controlled company. Also, Temasek or Temasek, if you guys want to pronounce it like that. Big player, big connections back to Ripple as well. Very large organization, but also the Monetary Authority of Singapore, which also gave Ripple their license to operate in Singapore. Also a very big deal. But the elites on here, the elite companies and foundations is the number one thing to focus on. Mohaloop is stacked to the brim with this. Now, also over here from Subjective Views, we have what does Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, Google, and Ripple all have in common? Answer: Mohaloop. Their aim is to work with the open source software community to create the blueprint for an open and inclusive digital financial infrastructure, aka the Internet of Value. And this is from the executive director at Mohaloop. Check it out.
Education with regard to the platform. In the spirit of open source, what we're trying to do is generate a public good that anyone can avail themselves of, that there are no licensing costs associated with it. There is a robust community that's maintaining, enhancing the code base. And so that's really where our funds are going. And in fact, we accept funding from various philanthropic organizations like the Gates Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation. We also get funding from member companies like Google, Coil, Modusbox, Ripple, and others that have alignment from a technology and a mission standpoint. But at that point, the software is available to the market to use as they see fit. And we welcome central banks to use and deploy the technology, but we actually do not fund deployments of the Mojaloop platform.
So there you guys have it. Now, as we really think about how big Mojaloop is and the Internet of Value, and also even what the BIS has been pushing around the Finternet, is it crazy to assume that Mojaloop is also tied to the BIS, considering the fact that Ripple is also working with the BIS on the CPMI group? It would not surprise me at all. But building on top of this, we have over here, from ISO 2022, let's do it. Mojaloop, designed to run the entire banking infrastructure of a country, contains software from Interledger Protocol to connect an entire country to the Interledger Protocol, plus Ripple. This is Mojaloop.
So Mojaloop is core ledger technology. They are designed to run as the banking infrastructure in a country, in a whole country. And they are deployed across several African nations. They're working their way through Asia right now. And we've worked with them to put Rafiki inside of a Mojaloop hub, inside of the Mojaloop software, so that an entire country can get connected to the Interledger with the push of a single button. We actually kickstarted the work maybe 4 weeks ago, so it's still under development.
And they also do continue to expand. And if we actually look at the full diagram here, we could see what this looks like, right? We have the Mojaloop Foundation, Interledger Foundation as well, Ripple with XRP. This is also Mojaloop equals one seamless loop for everyone. And then on the right side, we have built upon the Interledger Protocol. Mojaloop is an open source platform for digital payments, enabling payments between multiple MNOs, commercial banks, or a central bank to be settled. And then on the left side, we have all of those investing into this and connected to it. You have the World Economic Forum, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, SWIFT, ISO 2022 is tied to it as well. Google, some pretty large names here, the foundations like Rockefeller Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates. And then we also have the diagram, how this looks in terms of, payments, connecting to everything, money operators, credit unions, telecom providers, banks, central banks, MFIs. This is exactly how this works. Now, also over here, and this is from the Rockefeller Foundation's website, the project is managed by the Mojaloop Foundation, which was launched in early 2020. Its members include central banks, financial services, and technology companies such as Google, Coil, and Ripple, and philanthropies such as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and even the Rockefeller Foundation. The Mojaloop Foundation and its community also advances financial inclusion by shaping international standards and innovations, for example, through a research partnership with the Monetary Authority of Singapore on central bank digital currencies. And there you have it. Now, also talking about CBDCs over here from 801_XRP. And again, this shows you just how intertwined this is with the elites, those elite organizations like the World Bank, for an example. The World Bank in this research paper talks about payees, PSPs, using the Mojaloop system, faster payment system, to facilitate seamless transfers of funds between central banks, the interoperable bridge, and CBDC systems for payments. And here we have it, interoperability between CBDC systems and fast payment systems. The interoperability bridge is a component that facilitates the communication and exchange of information between Mojaloop and the DLT-based CBDC. Since Mojaloop does not natively support communication with DLT systems, the bridge was created to bridge the gap and enable the exchange of information between the two systems, thus facilitating the seamless transfer of funds between Mojaloop, a faster payment system, and the CBDC system. The bridge application was developed using Node.js, a popular JavaScript framework. Now here we actually have the breakdown from World Bank, interoperability between central bank digital currency systems and fast payment systems. Now here we have over here, let me get Grok off my screen. Here we have design. It's all on Mojaloop, triggered on Mojaloop as well in terms of the predefined settlement. And this is the PSPs pre-funding their accounts on a wholesale CBDC system through smart contracts in order to execute retail transactions on Mojaloop. The settlement, predefined settlement, windows, and then also the settlement is executed on the CBDC system, after which the same is communicated to the Moha Loop system to update its database records. Bridge between Moha Loop and wholesale CBDC system. How are they doing this? I think that we all know. APIs, CBDC system, and Moha Loop. On the bottom, we actually have the settlement of faster payment system transactions in a wholesale CBDC system as well. And then also on the right side, we have the fast payment system, the CBDC system broken down. Again, just to kind of show you guys real quick on how this fast payment system kind of works. You have that interoperability bridge at the center point. You have the Moha Loop hub at the top. Then you also have the CBDC smart contract and the reserve smart contract on the bottom. Now over here, we have the interoperability bridge. I just read most of this to you guys in terms of that JavaScript framework. But then we also have the diagram broken down, which again, I'm not going to waste your guys' time and read all of this. You guys can pause the video and read this if you guys want to. But overall, it does talk about PvP settlement, central bank digital currencies, central banks themselves, and just the overall goal here being central bank digital currencies. Again, at the end of the day, all of this is connected. When we're talking about inclusivity, we're talking about retail payments, CBDC payments, things like that. All of it is connected. And when we look at Moha Loop, it seems as though it is a crucial piece of the puzzle, especially when we combine this with what the World Bank has been pushing. We also think about the IMF, right? Because all of this is about the IMF as well. Even going back to 2017, this was with the IMF president meeting with 24 central banks from around the world, talking about the next generation of payments. Now, also over here from Matthew Linois, Crunchfish plus Moha Loop plus Ripple. The BIS project Polaris CBDC systems on and offline uses Ripple Labs technology and can utilize the XRP protocol. Here we have Crunchfish. This is recently. Crunchfish announces and patents digital cash programmability. Now, if you guys look at this, you can see the diagram here. Let me zoom in real quick just so you guys can see this. Let me go over. So this is the diagram. I know it's a little bit hard to read because it's a little bit blurry. It's blurry on my screen too. Don't worry about it. But for the most part, that is the diagram. In the second image here, we have back in 2023, Crunchfish digital cash integrated with Moha Loop payment platform for financial inclusion. They have completed an integration of digital cash with the Moha Loop payment platform. Financial service providers will now be able to offer to users the ability to perform payments with Moha Loop even when offline. It fits very well with Crunchfish's ambition to expand its presence outside India and to increase financial inclusion across the globe. And then also over here, we have from the BIS, Project Polaris, secure and resilient CBDC systems offline and online from October of 2023. Over here, private sector and experts. Crunchfish is one of those big players. Again, connections after connections after connections. And then talking more so about some elite organizations, World Economic Forum. Remember that Ripple is featured on their website, and this is all around realizing in the Internet of Value. All of this is talking about the Internet of Value. It's all tied to the same vision, the Internet of Value. And even over here, big shout out to Ingrid for this. Based on the 2016 World Economic Forum report, The Future of Financial Infrastructure, Ripple was already working with the World Economic Forum on a comprehensive draft for DLT and blockchain technologies. That's right. Chris Larson, Dilip Rayo, and Marcus Treacher were part of the subjective matter experts team. Everything has long been planned. And here we could actually see this analysis was based on over 12 months of research, engaging industry leaders and subject matter experts through interviews and multi-stakeholder workshops. What's crazy about this is when you actually look at some of the blockchain companies that were around that time that were listed here, there's only a few of them on this list that are actually still around today. But this is from 2016. You can see engaged leaders in academia, government, and regulation. Major players here. Major players from institutions as well. Shows you that institutions were around even back in 2016 within the space. This is from the World Economic Forum. Also over here, this is regarding the subject matter. You have Ripple, and also Ripple. Again, just shows you how connected they really are. And then if we go one step further, let's go back here to my post from September of last year. Now, this video is old. Even from 2023, it was old. I said, when I come back to this video, it's so clear that Ripple has already won. Many people will say it's an old video or it's a nothing video. They are the same ones that say all the private meetings with central banks and global elite organizations are nothing too. You have numerous documents from the World Bank, the BIS, the IMF, and various other organizations that mention Ripple and XRP. Most of these documents only mention Ripple and XRP2, which should tell you something. Call it speculation, call it whatever. In my opinion, XRP will be a big piece of the restructuring of our global system. And like I said, the IMF has been there for a very long time surrounding Ripple. And do you ever question why? Check it out.
Can you see those? Oh, there's 2 votes.
Let me try.
Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? Oh, they're over here. That's easier. You want to take one? Go for it. The first one's for you. IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things. I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe
the
I
IMF.
should take what the IMF is going to do. I think we
look,
stunned Ross into silence with that one.
For that to
And of course, you know, a little bit of a joke there. You know, maybe I should tell you guys what the IMF is going to do. I do think that there is truth in some of these little jokes or so. I personally believe that Ripple does know what the IMF is going to do. I believe that Ripple was there since inception, just like Ingrid is, you know, showing us here over back in 2016. Then we talk about the meetings from 2017 with these, you know, central banks and these big elite organizations. We talk about the connections that Moha Loop has to these, you know, elites as well. XRP, to me, there's no doubt in my mind that XRP is chosen, Ripple is chosen. It's all part of a plan. And it has been planned for a very long time, just like Ingrid is saying here. There's no doubt in my mind. I think this is, I think that it's way bigger than even, you know, I can comprehend. I think a lot of people are completely missing the big target here, which is the fact that Ripple and XRP are a part of a much larger plan. And yeah, sure, you can call it speculation, but when you look at the connections, when you look at what's been happening for so long, there's something much bigger on its way. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, set notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.